And we're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What's up? I missed you. And I know that you missed me. Greetings, everybody around the world. I'm excited. I'm excited to interact with you all today. I saw a comment about Phoenix. Man, it's hot down there. Huh? Jesus. What is it, 100? What's the average in Phoenix? Like 110 the last couple days? Fuck that. I just came back from Florida, which is like a friggin' swamp. You know, what's up? What's up, Hegs? Debo the Pro, what's going on? Yes, definitely got a shout out to Texas Silver Rush. Joe Ramini, what's happening? Sean Brennan, I'll see you at rehearsal. When are we rehearsing? This week, right? Rehearse? Who rehearses? Listen, if you don't know the shit, then you shouldn't be in a band. Who fucking rehearses? Not my band. Just kidding, actually. We rehearse once in a while. Yeah, it's a dry. Oh, 115. Is that right? Oh, man. No subtitles? What do you think? No. There's no. Sorry. What language? What language do you need subtitles for here? What can we do you for? Espanol? Francais? Italian? What kind of subtitles do we need for this show? Riddle me that. What kind of subtitles do we need for this show there, Skipper?
That's a very good question.
Hebrew?
Oi.
Oi. Good. I'm dying here.
Oh, did someone say 115? Oh, no, thank you. It's
that.
Been like 87 here. I'm at my tolerance level already.
Hello from Cape Cod.
So isn't that Lori Dawn territory? Yes, it is. What's up, Lori?
Yeah.
So I got a couple of cool things before we go to pictures today that I wanted to share.
A couple of cool things?
A couple of quick things. I'll be quick. First of all, I today am celebrating 20 years.
Is that right?
Island Railroad today. Today's my 20-year anniversary of working on the Long Island Railroad. This is my original patch from my jacket that I still have. And which is a very cool thing. It went by in a blink of an eye.
20 years. How many? 20 years.
And I intend to do the full 30. I'm going to go another 10 years. That's my plan.
There you go. Mazel tov.
So another cool thing, I'm going to do this quickly. As I meant to show this last week, I got these very cool vinyl that I ordered from the Car Bomb Parade. They did they recorded live directly to vinyl, and you specifically choose the song that you want. This is a brand new Car Bomb Parade song called Imperial Bastard that's not out yet.
Is that right?
Yeah, they did a very cool, like, limited run where you
you choose it, and
yeah.
Like one person gets it.
Right. In other words, they if 5 people want the same song, they have to do that song 5 different times.
Yeah, fuck that.
And they did that all, which was very cool. So I couldn't decide on which song, so I got 2. I got this, and I got a song with Life.
I wonder how much did people pay for that?
Well, it wasn't that cheap, but I love that band, and I thought it was definitely.
How much did someone pay for that? Oh, it wasn't that cheap.
I got 2 more cool things. One great new magazine that I just found called New Noise, which is really cool, and has a great piece from a photographer named Kevin Salk, who I love his work. I met him last year, and great stuff from the old days, you know. And I just love a tangible magazine. I love it because Down for Life is no longer with us, and I still like to hold a magazine and look at the magazine. You know,
well, obviously, bro, look at all that clutter behind you.
Oh yeah, well yeah, exactly.
You know, you better watch it. It's like an episode of Hoarders. They're gonna come and try to clean your shit out. Be like, you have psychological problems. And like, you need to throw, like, what are those CDs? What is this?
What did you call it? Accumulation. It's accumulation. And the last thing, I found today when I went to go get cat food, I found coffee cereal.
I saw that. You said.
I can't wait to
What
try
is
this.
that? What do you mean coffee cereal? Is that like instead of having a cup of coffee, you eat a bowl of that?
Oh no, that wouldn't take away my coffee. I would just use it on top of this. But it actually has ground coffee, cocoa extract, coffee powder.
Yeah, bro. I've never drank coffee in my life, man.
Oh well, you can have some of my cereal.
Honestly, if I ate that cereal, like with all that caffeine in it, I'd probably like take hostages or something.
Your song's really fast.
Yeah, I'd have a nervous breakdown, you know? Yep.
My head really hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey,
so, yeah, those are a few things I wanted to share that I thought were very cool.
In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, photo of the day, for old time's sake, wrong answers only, please. Boom. Photo of the day. What do we got here?
Sha.
And nice Fryette gear there.
Little nod to our friends at Fryette right there.
Yeah. Shout out to my bandmate who's you know,
a man called Zum.
Shout out to Zum, who basically is, you know, Fryette amplification at this point. But that's not true. Steve Fryette and Zum.
Yeah.
You know, got that. Anyway, what do we got? Is it Chris Christopherson? Good one.
Yeah, a little bit. See that?
Is it Charles Manson? Oof. Is it Jerry Garcia? Listen, knowing a little bit about Jerry Garcia never played a Gibson Flying V. I can tell you that. Is it a crumb sucker? Is it the Dude? Is it Billy Connolly? Is it Keith Wood?
I love Billy Connolly.
Hey, what's up, Chris in Germany from Rikers? Yeah. Is it Crumbsuckers? Is it Dave Mustaine? Okay. Here's another one, sort of tipping the hand a little bit. Here you go. Another one off that roll. Yo, I got to shout out Eric Utch, brother. Eric's our good friend and supporter. He was just out on the road working security with Pantera.
Oh, nice.
Basically, shadowing Phil Ansamo. Eric, it's funny because I thought of you today, man. I thought, like, good for Eric, man. He's living his dream, and that's awesome. And you're out there doing it, playing the big rooms too, right? Good for you, brother. And now you're back home, probably like just crushed, right? They're gonna go out again. Is it Jesus? Okay. Right. Okay. Right answers only. Is it the Agrolites? Is it Yo Agro's playing near me on Wednesday?
Hey, Mark Tolch.
Hey, Mark. What's up, knucklehead? Tell us what this is, and I'll put up. Yeah. Is it the Agros?
This is the Agros. This is, in fact, the maiden voyage. This is the first Agros show. This was a few days back at St. Vitus in Brooklyn, Greenpoint, and the first Agros show after all this time, and along with yeah, there we go. This I actually took at Soundcheck, this shot, but I got to shout out that Rush shirt, by the way. I love Rush, and it's just so awesome to see Paris and Chuck together. I mean, anyone who was like a teenager back when, like, the Cro-Mags and the Crumbsuckers, if you said they would be in the same band, like, yeah. That's pretty.
Well, they've been in the same band before,
and they were in.
And you know what? What band was Paris and Chuck Lenahan in before Agros?
Together.
All hail Agros. Somebody might figure this out or remember this other band. Oh, Mark says he crossed the border with that shirt, insulting to all of us Canadians. Come on. Anybody know what band the two of them were in together? It's not, huh? No, it wasn't Brutal Truth. No, it wasn't Propane. No, it wasn't White Devil. But those are good guesses. Those are good guesses. Let's see. Do we have another shot?
I'm trying to remember what they did together. I'm stumped, I think.
Well, here's a shot of two aggros and two Kings Never Died.
It's a beautiful shot. I love the shot. You know, aside from this being the aggros and Kings Never Die who opened the show along with Point Blank, to look at this picture, I also see Cro-Mags, Murphy's Law, Crumbsuckers, Dog Eat Dog, Mucky Pup. There's so much history here. You know, it's such a cool, and you know what? It was so cool just seeing all these guys together. And
all right, stop kissing their ass already.
Listen, bro. I'm a fan first and foremost, and I really enjoyed it.
Slow your roll, bro.
So
no, I'm just kidding. They were great.
It really was, and I'm glad I got to see that. It was the very first show, which
coming to a town near you.
There it is.
Yeah. Tonight is Montreal.
Is Mark going back to Montreal?
No, I think Mark's going to Toronto.
And he's wearing a Rush shirt.
Yeah. Listen, fellow Canadians, dust off that Rush shirt and get on down to the Aggro show.
That's right. Or maybe a Triumph shirt.
Ooh.
You saw Triumph at the US Festival.
I did in 1983. Yep.
Something about Canadian power trios.
I suffered through that, yes. Was it Sam Sarah? No. Was it the Stimulators? No. It wasn't Blood Clot. It wasn't Carnivore AD.
Give us the answer, man.
Paris and Chuck Lenahan were in a band in the mid-90s called Psychic Orgy.
Oh, shit. I remember them.
Yeah, man.
Wow. I forgot about that.
Yep.
I forgot about that. Chuck also was in the Genitorturers.
Chuck was also just in, I did not know this, but being that we just had Jatan on the show, he was in Christian Death.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? I mean, I love this sort of diversity, and I love the fact that these guys just continue to play. You know, as a Long Islander, Crumbsuckers.
Yeah,
one of the first like 3 hardcore bands I've ever seen.
That's a good one. The Crow Suckers. Oh, and by the way, the last song that they played was Malfunction, right?
That's right. They did everything instrumental. Everybody sang along, of course.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. They had a mic in the center of the stage, and I looked down and saw Malfunction, and I was just like, "Who's gonna sing it? Who's gonna sing it?" And we sang it. We all sang it. So,
well, all right. Well, there you go. Let's get the show on the road. Let's get our guest on. I'm excited about this. Maybe I'll see you at the end of the show. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I'm gonna.
If I had a bullet, I'd probably go out and fucking commit some crimes, man.
If I eat this, how about I run to your house and back?
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye. You got it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Often imitated, never duplicated. And we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, Upstate Records, and 126 Hardcore Clothing. They're a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. Come on now, Upstate Records. They're a New York-based DIY independent metal and hardcore label founded in the year of our Lord 2017. They broke into the scene with their inaugural 26-band compilation, and since then have churned out over 80 releases in their brief 5-year history. Out now are new releases by Mark Rizzo's band Revenge Beast, Carl from Earth Crisis's Freya, Fury of 5 Angry Corpses, with a few more surprises in the works. Check them out and a whole lot more at www.upstaterecordsnewyork.com and use the code STONE10 for 10% off. That said, let's clear the deck. Make sure everybody's okay. Nobody's killing themselves in the chat room. All good. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring our guest on. Here we go. Yo. Today's guest is an American vocalist, guitarist, and songwriter hailing from Rochester, New York. He's known for his work with the bands Cutthroats 9, Salon, Human Impact, and for over 35 years, Unsane. Please welcome, coming at us from lovely Northern California, Mr. Chris Spencer. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Same old shit.
Yeah. How's Northern California treating you?
Nice. Yeah, it's awesome. Yep.
It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, it's really nice. I live in the Redwoods, it's super nice. It's not super hot.
Yeah, I've said it on the show a bunch of times. At one point, we were considering moving out to Humboldt County.
Yeah, that's where my girl's from.
Yeah, starting a life out there, but it didn't go that way. But for a while, I was spending a lot of time there, Eureka and McKinleyville, and it's a beautiful part of the country.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty remote up there,
Yeah, it's nice. Interesting how you and we'll get into it. How you ended up out there, huh?
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, how did you end up out there? Aren't you an East Coast guy?
Yeah, a lot of my family lived out here, and there was a brief period. Well, not brief. There was a period of time where I was hanging out in San Francisco a bunch. Got together with this guy Will Carroll and started the Cutthroats 9. Sure. Just really for fun, just to fucking smash shit and cause chaos. And I mean, 12 bass players later, we were still doing it. We did like 7 or 8 US tours. And I just was out here a shit ton. And New York was changing, so I was like, well, I'll just come on out and fucking see what it's like out here. It's been amazing. I've been here quite a while now.
And there's a little more room to maneuver too, Yeah,
totally. Yeah. It's no big deal,
I mean, I can relate in so much as I was in New York. I was in Vermont for a while. I owned a house in Vermont. I had a house. I had my own office. And now I'm back in a studio apartment in New York City.
Yeah. I got a place during the pandemic. I got a place in Bushwick.
Oh, wow.
And in a part of Bushwick that really is a little more like old school New York,
Yeah, sure. It's still there. There's still that little enclave. Yeah.
Jamaicans out front selling weed, smoking it up, 14 hours a day and fucking craziness going on. It was hard to live in a one-room thing again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paulie asked, Will Carroll, Beastman from Death Angel?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, now he's been playing in Death Angel for a long time now. But yeah, that was the drummer from Cutthroats.
Yeah. Hi, Camille. I mean, a little off topic, but so excited for this show. I saw Unsane a couple of times in the 90s in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, we played some crazy shows there. It was pretty fun.
Really?
Yeah. There was one, we played this like loft place, just crazy shit, a lot of like crazy art types and chaos. It was pretty fun.
Camille, hang in there. We're going to do questions from around the world towards the end. I'll try to remember this one. How did you get the drummer from Daughters? So we'll come back to that. But let's jump into it. Let's bounce the ball back and forth a little bit. How did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music?
Yeah, when I was a kid, my mother played bluegrass and shit.
Wow.
In upstate New York. And there were all these like crazy weirdo hippie guys and shit who, my mom's real pretty, so she got hit on a lot. She was a single mother. So I kind of met all these, bluegrass hippie guys, and I kind of got taught some chords early on, when I was really young. And just play a few chords with those guys when I was really little. I mean, I was like 7 or 8.
Wow.
Just kind of strumming, little tiny hands, But
I didn't see that coming. I'm a huge bluegrass fan.
Oh yeah. Oh cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I love
Yeah,
blues.
that's
Yeah.
where it's all. That's where I started playing, man. It's just kind of
Yeah.
real simple shit, just kind
Wow.
of strumming along with those guys. Yeah.
That's great to be exposed to that early on as a musician. Just sort of that music theory and that level of musicianship too. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, there was no way at that age I'd be able to get anywhere near there, but
Right.
definitely educational.
So that's the first music you were exposed to.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, my mom had some singles of like noisy shit from the 60s and stuff
Yeah.
and, crazy crap like that. But first stuff I was playing with other people, which I really liked just being able to like pick up an instrument and actually play with people, when I was younger.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid. So
What did, other than the bluegrass stuff, what else kind of came into your peripheral vision as a young person?
It's kind of a lot of garage rock and shit, like
Mm.
Sonics, psychedelic shit, Jimi
Yeah.
Hendrix, stuff like that, kind of early shit, just like late 60s, 70s shit.
Yeah, and we've said it many times that that was a very vibrant era for radio.
Yeah,
we I mean, we're about the same age, and just and listening to radio would keep you busy.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on there.
Yeah, it was totally addictive. I just lie in bed and like turn it on, just listen there for hours, And there weren't that many radio stations, honestly, of like rock. You know what I mean? There were only like 2 or 3.
And during your formidable years here, was this in Rochester?
Yeah, that was upstate New York. Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Rochester?
I played hockey in the winter until I realized I was going to lose my teeth. Lived on a block with like 35 kids. Public school 106, where I was the one white kid in my class, in my group, in my crew,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of a weird, Later, I went to other schools, and it was like, oh really, holy shit, that was a weird thing. But it was cool, man. Just had tons of kids, like on our block. There were just tons of kids, and there was a whole just fucking social network of like 35 kids from like 4 to 16, who all hung out, and just did all the shit together every day, after school and stuff. So
that's huge, man, for a kid.
Yeah.
Like to have that talk about the social network. I mean, all this shit here, the internet stuff is just sleight of hand, man. It's all smoke. What's really social network is interacting with human beings, man.
Yeah. Being around a shit ton of kids every day, when you're young, I really kind of teaches you.
Being bullied and tormented by your peers. That's
I was kind of in the middle. I wasn't at the bottom. I wasn't at the top, which was kind of a good thing,
Yeah. We try to kind of keep it even keel on it. So is it safe to say like the first live music you saw was that basically bluegrass stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just people just kind of playing together as a group. Nothing. Later went to like punk shows and stuff. Once I started getting older, like one of the first shows I saw was this fucking Aerosmith arena rock show when I was like 11 or something.
Wow. Okay.
And I was so like, I was kind of blown away by the whole thing, but at the same time, I really thought the band is so detached from everyone. And I started going to like small punk shows, which made a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Like,
of course. I mean, I could 100% relate to that. I mean, 100%. I mean, So how did the punk thing come into your orbit?
I mean, I guess kind of a lot from my older brother. Oh. When the Cramps first came out, he got me the Cramps record as a joke because he thought it was like Halloween rock or something. But then I was playing guitar, which it pretty much is. But I was playing guitar, so I started learning like Human Fly and just Cramps songs.
Oh, there you
just
go.
For and then I started getting into that shit, and then other band, like a band like I went out. My mother moved out to California, so I was out in San Francisco a bunch. Saw Flipper, Dead Kennedy.
All right.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah.
And like seeing Flipper and like Black Flag, early Black Flag with like
Yeah.
Dez singing,
Oh, yeah.
and Dead Kennedys and shit really lit a fire under me. You know, it was kind of like, this shit is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually be real, you know, in music and fucking not be some rock star idiot, you know. That's sort of juxtaposition to Aerosmith's, you know. So, you know, I just realized that you know, because I had started out with like bluegrass guys and the sort of everybody jamming together, everybody's normal. And then see this like overproduced giant, you know, arena rock, then get into punk, it just became like, you know, I can do this, you know what I mean? And this is fucking awesome and fun, and me and my friends can all fucking have a good time, you know.
I can relate to what you just said 1,000%. It's 1,000. I mean, and I saw those three bands in 1981: Flipper, Dead Kennedys, you know, Black Flag, you know, and I felt the same way, coming from a background of sort of the same sort of thing: Americana, Grateful Dead, Rolling Stones, Allman Brothers Band, idol worship, you know, and then going to a show where like these are kids this is stuff going on my age, and you know, really felt connect to it. What was the impetus to picking up guitar? Why guitar?
I mean, again, because when I was a kid, you know, it was all a bunch of these bluegrass hippies and stuff, and that was kind of the easiest thing to get a hold of, you know what I mean? And I just liked it, you know, and it was kind of my first exposure. So yeah, you know, it just made sense. You know, I really just kind of love guitar, so kind of always have.
What was the first guitar you got?
I mean, I used a bunch of crappy nylon strings ones, really loved, but the frets really wide and all the crap. But I got, and nobody will ever, maybe somebody would know this.
On this show, they will.
It was a fucking Yoshi semi-hollow body guitar that I got for $35. So, and then and then later, after I totally destroyed that piece of shit, I had a really nice 67 SG with the single coil Gibson pickups, which I didn't even realize how great that guitar was at the time. I just really liked it. And, you know, it's kind of easier on my hands. The other one was so shitty. So
yeah, those SG necks are a little easier to deal with too, right?
Yeah, smaller and just easier. Yeah.
So how did you start you get into your first band, or what was sort of the progression of getting into bands, which I assume eventually led to the Lawn Chair Blisters?
Yeah, I mean, that's a ways down the line. We started when I was like 10 or 11. Me and my friends, we used to like skateboard all the time, but then we would also like go to our friend's basement and just sit around and jam, just play. Like when we just, you know, I had like 2 or 3 friends that played drums, one sort of half-assed, but I had friends who want to play drums, and then other guitar player friends. And there were kind of older guys too that we'd jam with sometimes, who would teach us shit. And we would just hang out in the basement and just play all the time. And that went on for years, just playing, because we just loved playing. And then at one point, I started going to those punk shows and stuff, and kind of said to my friends, hey man, if one of us sings, like we can play a show. Like we can actually get out there and nobody wanted to sing, so I got kind of stuck with the job.
Was this still up in Rochester?
No, I had gone to San Francisco at this point.
Oh, San Francisco at this point, right?
Yeah, and then was there for a few years, and then came back to New York at like 17. So yeah, was in San Francisco.
Did you move back to Rochester at 17, or did you come down into the city?
No, moved to Manhattan, moved to New York. Yeah.
And how old were you when you did that?
17.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Went to school, you know.
So you came to New York to go to school?
Yeah. And then I was actually went to Sarah Lawrence for a few years. Which
that's right.
Fucking hated it. And then went to NYU, went to film school for a while. I was actually kind of set up to do cinematography.
Wow.
Yeah. That was really supposed to be sort of my job as a
Was
human.
that a passion of yours?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. But it was all film then. This is way back, man.
Of course.
Yeah, it was all film. And I was just kind of getting it like, a lot of my friends were doing video shit. My friend PK, this guy Pete Kenneth, who has all this early Unsane shit, shooting a lot of videos. So it was kind of like you were getting into, as I was doing film and looking at working with like 70mm Panavision cameras and shit like that. I got into advanced cinematography. But then me and Pete and Charlie, the Lawn Chair Blisters, which is actually Unsane at the very beginning.
Right.
I had bought a cheap ass van, and we were like, let's just fucking get in the van and just.
Did you meet these guys at Sarah Lawrence?
Yeah, at school. Yeah.
Oh, so you guys you met them when they were fellow college students.
Yeah, right at the beginning. My roommate left. I like brought a couple of amps, like a small PA and a couple and an amp. And I was living in the cement room. My roommate lived in the Upper East Side, so he didn't want to stay out there. So he moved back home. So I had the room to myself. And so then I started hanging out with Pete Shore, skating with him. And I was like, hey, you want to play bass or maybe play guitar or whatever? And then he moved into the room with me. We started jamming, met Charlie, trying to get some weed off him. We heard this guy had a bunch of weed, so we went over to his room and scored some weed off him. But he had a drum kit, so then we started jamming with him and yada yada. It just, just kind of went from there.
And you guys, when you started playing, like, what was your first like gig in New York, and how did like what sort of circuit did you sort of fall into?
I can't remember the fucking name of the place. The very first one we did, we just kind of stuck our toe in the water. Shit. It's obviously way closed. It was some shitty.
That wasn't the Pyramid thing.
No, there was one that we did way before that. And it was like, shit. It was like 19th and 6th Avenue or something.
19th and 6th.
I can't remember, but it was like this tiny corner bar. It was just like a bar. I was just trying anything, man.
Yeah. Any place that would have us.
Yeah, totally. But I think it was called like Rock and Roll Hub or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But but then I made a bunch of demo tapes, and I was living on 13th Street and skating with the guys up there, which is kind of funny because Harold Hunter, like Pete and me used to skate with him, and Harold Hunter was like a little kid then. I don't know if you know who that is, the guy from Kids and stuff. It's like he became like a super famous skater. But we just made a little launch ramp, and we'd hang out. Those guys were little kids, so we'd skate with them. But then Ray Bees from Warzone lived on the block, and he also worked the door at the Pyramid.
That's right.
So I had made all these cassettes, and I gave him a cassette. And he was like, okay, Chris, I'll see what I can do, because he's my neighbor. So then we got a show there. I can't remember, there was another place on Houston Street. Did like
I got one for you. I just dug it out of the archive. Are you ready? Here you go.
Yeah.
This is Ray Bees and Jimmy G from Murphy's Law working the door of the Pyramid. How about that, right? Is that great? Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So you gave the demo to Ray Bees?
Yeah, to Ray. Yeah. He was just there, and I knew him for the block. And he just helped me out and got me, got somebody to listen to. I think Julie was maybe booking there or something, who I now know pretty well, but I think she was booking the place. Yeah, we got a show there. I went to CB's. They were really cool. Lisa was really cool. I don't know if you knew Lisa from CB's yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were pretty responsive. It initially, like, we did audition night at CB's, and they had to do a write-up, which I never even knew about. Yeah, we did a Monday audition night. Wow. And the guy was like, well, they're really noisy, but they're really good. So we got another show. Wow. So, yeah. So it was just...
mentioning the Pyramid. The Pyramid's a sort of an interesting place. A lot of bands sort of, came through the Pyramid. I think Nirvana played their first show at the Pyramid, and the Pyramid had, yeah, I think so. And but a lot of bands kind of percolated is the word, in that sort of Pyramid, and as opposed to sort of I guess what I'm getting at, there was a whole nother circuit kind of going on that the Pyramid was a part of. They booked a lot of bands, the Pyramid. There was always
they did. And it was like they would have like alternative shows like Tuesday and Thursday or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was 2 nights a week. That's a shit ton of band over time.
Yeah.
So there, and Lismar Lounge too. You could play in the basement at the Lismar, which was that was a shithole.
I saw some great shows. I saw Circus of Power down there, and Cycle Sluts from Hell, and
that room was fucking tiny, and the stage was just that little corner, like enclosed area.
What a hellhole!
Oh, totally. But sound just bounced out of that hole.
It was like one way in and one way out.
Total fucking fire trap.
Totally. I read that getting out of town, and I'm quoting you here a little bit. We would do shows for $50. We just wanted to get out of New York City and play. Yeah. Tell us, give us some perspective on that.
Well, so I had bought this cheap ass van that kept getting tagged, and I had to keep fucking removing spray paint from just because it was a white van parked on Avenue B all the time, which at that time was fucked up. But then me and Pete Charlie, we were rehearsing in the space it's basically between Houston and Second on B.
That's not Sukasa, is it?
No. It was.
Oh, wait! I got that picture. Go on. I'm sorry.
It was the old Pussy Galore room. Pussy Galore was there, and us and Cops Who Cop.
Is that this photo that Jens took?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he came down and took some pictures one day. And
is that this one?
It is. Yeah, that's the spot.
Wow! Totally. Look at that, huh?
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, pretty funny.
It looks like a fucking bomb shelter.
Yeah, kind of. It was just like carpet on the wall, and it was all fucked up.
And no air. Go on.
So then we had a friend of ours who ran this label in Philly called Rave Records. This guy Todd Cote, who I still work with to this day, who had put out like an anti-scene record and some other shit and just kind of noisy crap. And he wanted to get into booking. So we were like, hey, if you want, help us out. Because I tried booking shit out of New York, and there was just no response. So I
gotta say, that's kind of rare that a guy that actually wanted to get into booking. Like,
yeah, I know.
That was fucking rare.
Yeah, seriously. So we were the first band he started with. Now he runs a whole agency and everything. But we were the first band to start with him. And we just fucking went anywhere. We just played the biggest shitholes all over the country. We do like 8.5, 9 weeks of the U.S. Playing almost every night as much as possible, and just fucking driving like hell and crashing.
Well, when you're young and what's more exciting? I couldn't think of anything more excited than being in a van, seeing the country, and going to play music, right?
Yeah, exactly, totally.
And this is the original band right here, right?
Yeah. That's us in the practice space. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Charlie's awesome. Cool ass kit, man. That was this crazy psychedelic Ludwig kit.
Go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say we just crashed at this guy's house in Portland, Maine one night, and we woke up and it was kind of his practice space, and that drum kit was right next to us when we woke up. We didn't realize it was there when we went to bed. And Charlie was like, I've got to have that kit. So, yeah, it's the crazy multicolored psychedelic Ludwig, which he had string holding it together,
Wow. And these pictures that we just showed were taken by Jens Jurgensen, who is an old friend of mine. I went to junior high school with him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And we bonded over our love for Frank Zappa in 10th grade, And but he went on to play bass in Boss Hogg, right?
Oh yeah, yes he did.
Yeah. So that said, I know you lived deep in the Lower East Side back then, right? Did you lived on Avenue D and 8th Street?
Yeah, me and Charlie lived in this little tiny place. I slept on a piece of foam on the floor and just had like one little tiny room. Yeah.
Now this is Avenue C and 8th Street.
Yeah.
So this is up on your corner.
You got to go down the block. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it was like rubble. The building next to ours, there were a couple like just torn down rubble. It was just rubble. And there was this guy there. He had like 6 dogs, and he would like hang out there, and people would come and like fucking let their pit bulls go on his fucking mutts that he had there. Yeah, it looked pretty much like that, man.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who like slept, had his little campsite with his dogs, and fucking people.
So wait, this guy had dogs, and he let people attack his own dogs?
No, he had like 6 dogs, but they were not like aggressive dogs, and then but then other guys would like come in and let their dogs like fuck with them, Yeah, it was pretty fucked up. You hear like dogs howling in the middle of the night and kind of crazy crap. And then it was also a dope spot like down in the lobby. It was the graveyard
in the lobby of your building.
Yeah. It was the dope spot from like 2 a.m. till 10 a.m. So it was like the graveyard shift for dope. Yeah, it was fucking. Yeah, it was great. It was hairy.
I mean, to have that going on in the lobby of your building, I always wondered about that when I was copping dope back in the 90s. Who lives in this building?
Yeah.
I always wonder when I was copping dope in your building, who lives in your building?
who the fuck would live here? Yeah.
Fuck, who the fuck would live? Oh, some crazy white musician guys. Oh, of course.
Yeah, no, I mean, the guys were cool to us. They were nice. They didn't want to start any shit in the building, So.
Yeah. Well, that here's another shot from this is a couple blocks up, but this just sort of is a testament to what the neighborhood was like.
Yeah, I remember that mural. Yeah, I totally remember that mural.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And then you were. I mean, that is. It doesn't get any deeper than that. Avenue D and 8th Street, man.
Yeah, and that's the apartment that Charlie died in, actually. Oof. Yeah. It was kind of I mean, I don't want to get too explicit, but like he would get all fucked up, come home, and it's 4 a.m, 5 a.m. Here are all the guys in the lobby. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, so whatever.
Yeah, and for those that what Chris is referring to, the original drummer in Unsane, Charlie, who sadly OD'd and passed away right in the apartment there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew, God, I mean, that must have been pretty traumatic for you personally.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
Yeah,
it was. He had a couple close calls before that, and I had helped.
Is that
him
right?
out. Yeah, and then I was out of town that time, so nobody was there to help him. Yeah.
Young too, huh?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming kind of after that, it was time to move on. I know you mentioned something that sort of as the gentrification started, you sort of like moved farther and farther south, right?
Yeah, I mean, 8th and D was fucking a long way from gentrification. It probably still is.
Right.
I've been there a lot. But I moved down to. I actually got a girlfriend. Moved down to like Avenue B between 2nd and 3rd, which at that time wasn't that great either.
Yeah.
And then I lived on Clinton Street, just below House.
Boy, you were just living in all the great neighborhoods where everyone loved to cop, huh?
In a basement space down there, and that was really fucked up. Well, I was on tour a lot, so I just kind of needed a place to stash my shit. And then Clinton Street, and then I lived in the Alleged Gallery on Ludlow before Ludlow really blew up, and lived there for a while, like 5 years, and then Grand and Attorney.
So, I mean, you spent an incredible amount of time in the Lower East Side. Was it sort of, and I know the answer. I mean, painful to see the transition. I mean, it was such a cauldron of artistic wealth, right?
Yeah, no shit, and then crushed by the fucking corporate, greed. You know.
It's bizarre now, man.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah, I was
out of
there.
like, it's crazy. It's like we do shows. We did shows for a while at Niagara, which is Avenue A and 7th Street, which is the old A7. Where
Yeah.
Jesse Mallon's part owner.
Yeah.
So we a couple years ago I started doing hardcore matinees there, and it was great to be back in that room. But eventually we got kind of chased out of the room because basically that area now is like an NYU campus. It's all NYU kids, and they're like, "Hey, Drew, can we move you over here?" We got a lot of NYU kids that want to come in here and drink, So that's kind of what happened. What happened?
Yeah.
with that,
I'm surprised you could even get in there, like, at all. Use that club.
Well, this is going back a couple of years. We did like a whole bunch of shows there, and then we moved to a place called the Bowery Electric, which
Okay, gotcha.
That's our place. Yeah,
seems way more suitable.
Yeah, so I do one all ages free matinee a month there.
Yeah,
and I've done a bunch of them. Let's talk about this gem here and kind of and the process of how I love the story. You got to tell us the story about how you guys ended up on Matador Records.
So we've been playing around Lismar, Rio, Pyramid, CBs, all this shit. So then we finally score this fucking show where we're going to be playing with Sonic Youth. It's our big break,
At CB's? At CB's?
At CB's, yeah, at
Okay.
CB's. It was like a Saturday night. We thought we were fucking just set. We were like, oh man, here we go. We get to play with Sonic Youth. This is going to be fucking awesome.
We've arrived.
Yeah. Oh my God. So then we get there. Turns out there's like fucking 6 bands as usual, sort of typical CB stuff. There's 6 bands on the bill. And we're last. We got the graveyard slot. So we load in and we're fucking waiting, hanging out. Went over to the Mars Bar for a while, came back. And Sonic Youth is up. They play. It's fucking awesome. They were kicking ass. And then at the end, they're supposedly done, sort of, but they do an encore and invite Don Fleming up. And the encore is like fucking 40 minutes long, and the place is just packed to 20. It's just fucking, the show it's gone on for like over an hour and a half or something. It's getting late. It's like 2:30 in the morning. So they end, and we're up. I can't remember. I think it was, we played, I think at 2:30 or somewhere around there. So maybe they're done at 2. But everybody fucking leaves. It's super late. Everybody leaves the show. There are like 10, maybe 12 people there. And we just kind of set our shit up and just go, oh, fuck, what the fuck have we done? Just play, do our shit. And then a guy comes up to us after the show. He's like, man, that was fucking awesome. You guys, it's really great. My name is Gerard Kozloy from Matador Records. And I just came here to see Sonic Youth and kind of wanted to just check out the band after them or whatever, So he offered us a fucking deal on Matador. He said, if you guys want to record some shit for Matador, let's give it a shot. So yeah, but we, the highs and lows, you know what I'm saying? You're doing great. The whole dream is crushed. And then something good comes out of it. So you never know.
That's a great story, and what my mind went to a little bit, being that you brought up early Black Flag, was like the sort of, I think Henry Rollins tells this story about how, they had a gig early on and there was only a couple people there and he kind of half-assed it. And Chuck Dukowski put him up against a wall and said, don't you ever do that again. Whether we play to, 500 people or 5 people, it's the same thing. And this is, that's a testament to that. It's like, you just,
I mean, we really love what we do,
Yeah.
We're, venomous, kind of, fucking love for what we do, so.
And and you go in, and this is the first Matador record, correct?
Yeah, it is. That's an old picture. Pete had a friend who worked for the NYPD who had just given like those little 4x6 prints of shit. They're kind of like, you know, with stuff that I'm trying to look. In actually cropped off is a cop that's standing next to the body. But we kind of cropped him out of the photo. But it was just like these police scenes that this photographer guy did. And
they remind me of those old Ouija photos, those crimes. Is a crime scene photo, right? Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
But this guy's wearing a members only jacket. You know what I mean? It's a little more at the time contemporary, you know. But so then we were like, we had all these offers, Matadors. Oh, we got an art department. These people do this and this. But we had already we had done a bunch of singles and shit.
Right.
Really, we were like gore hounds. And had, you know, I had gone to film school, and Pete was in like fine art at Pratt, you know, and stuff. So we wanted to do our own art, and we were total gore hounds. So and this was Pete's fucking coveted masterpiece that he had gotten from this photographer guy. Right. So it was kind of like, okay, we're gonna use that. You know, we know it's harsh, we know it's fucked up, but is congruent with what we're doing. You know, you know what I mean.
And looking back on sort of this landmark record, you know, do you feel like it has it aged well? Are you happy with it still?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, we remastered it and reissued it, and remastered it and kind of kicked up some kind of mid-high and up the level a little bit, so it kicks you in the face a little more. But yeah, man, I'm super proud of that record. I think that record's very good. It was really fun to make. And I took all these live recordings of in between song noise and stuff and put it in between the songs on this to kind of keep the atmosphere going, because you can actually hear that there's audience members, and you can tell between songs there's like this whole noise generating, you know. So I mean,
it must have been an exciting time, right? I mean, you know, you're on Matador, you're out there, you know, you made a great record.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know really that Matador was gonna do well at all. You know what I mean? I was kind of, it's cool, we got a record out, and this shit is fun as hell. Let's get back in the van and fucking go out and play every day again. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, let's keep playing. So
let's just keep that work ethic going, and let's keep grinding.
Yeah. Right? Oh yeah. Just keep going. Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah. And you know, and Total Destruction, like. Are you establishing the gore theme? Was that something that was sort of like, this is we're gonna keep going with this?
Well, he had this thing like Jens would go, like Jens took that picture too.
Is that right? I did not know that.
Yeah. That was an abandoned Monte Carlo on like 2nd Street, I think, between maybe B and C, I think. Right. I don't know. But it was like middle of winter, so it was all frozen. And then we went and threw blood on the front end. And then Jens took it with a flash, you know? So Pete and Jens would do a lot of stuff where like there was this abandoned building out in Long Island near Pete's parents' place. And they would go in there and fucking like the Vandal X cover, we all went and we would just go in this abandoned building, and we broke in, and then we would just hose shit down with blood or with like cow's blood. Because my roommate, this guy Brian Moran, did this thing where it was called Blood Boy, and it was actually at Niagara, you know, what used to be called King Tut's Wawa Hut.
Oh wait, hold on, I have a visual.
The room that you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
King Tut's Wawa Hut. Yeah. But he would do these performances, and I would do like noise, music for noise for it, and he would just stand there naked with a bucket of blood, naked in front of the packed room, and just cover his whole body in blood and scream at the top of his lungs while I'm doing this whole like thing, you know, and it just was chaos and craziness. Yeah, there's the old Wawa Hut.
So not only do I have the old King Tut's Wawa Hut shot, but I also have another shot of the room that we're talking about, which
well, we had to cover everything with plastic.
There you go. There's the room which is the old A7, which is Niagara. This is the room we were doing the shows in, but this is that infamous room, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the stage is behind us though? because these two windows were out onto 7th Street.
Yes,
and that's Tompkins Square Park right across
That's
out
right.
the window. There.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
So the stage is actually on the other side. But yeah, that is the room.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it only held like fucking 60, 70 people max. And it was super crowded, and he would like flinging blood on people. And, we'd like had plastic sheeting all over everything. So we didn't ruin the room, Yeah.
Robert Hagen, Scotland says, Chris, I'm now seeing where the Filthy Christians got the idea for their Mean album. All right. Yeah. This Total Destruction record, wasn't it sort of a joint venture between Matador and Atlantic? Wasn't Atlantic involved in this one?
That was kind of unfortunate, man.
Yeah, there was a little I couldn't figure that out particularly. Released in Germany. Give us the perspective on that, will you?
Well, we were on Matador, and we wanted to stay on Matador. We had, I think we were signing kind of one record at a time. We didn't sign like a 3 record. Maybe we signed a 3 record deal. I can't remember. But then Matador became a subsidiary of Atlantic. And those early fucking, let's swallow the big labels swallowing everything kind of things.
It was that era.
Yeah, it was that era.
Yeah.
And so then suddenly we're kind of on Atlantic, which we were not particularly happy about. But it gave us a platform, like we made the video, like they said, oh, we'll give you money to make a video. We made that record. It came out on Matador / Atlantic, whatever the case. But then they were like, okay, MTV, let's try and hit MTV with a video and shit. So me and Pete were like, well, let's make a video that they just probably cannot show, and pick the song that they're going to fucking hate the most. So there's the track Body Bomb. It's about a guy who fucking straps a bomb on his body and goes down to the World Trade Center and blows it up. But and this
is of course years before 9/11.
Yeah.
And the guy in the video is Nats.
Is my good friend Nats from Cop Shoot Cop. Yeah.
And the Undead. I know him from being in the Undead.
Yeah. And then it was shot by Richard Kern. So Rich Kern made, local film dude. And good friend. So we got our friends in on it. They made money. Everybody did well. Nats was in it. Shot it at Martin Beese's in Brooklyn, down in the basement, BC Studios. But and then put it out. And we sent it to them. The response we got, this was so awesome, was don't like the band, don't like the video, and that was it. That's all. That's what they said.
It's funny because of course, being involved in music videos, right? That's the career I had, and that's why I have these gold records or whatever, all videos that I was involved in. The thing was like, we would never do something like that. We would, once in a while someone said, and then we'll pull a gun out. No, you can't have guns in your videos. No, you can't have the, devices of bombs. No. No, it'll never get played. So why the fuck are we gonna do it? So that's funny. Go ahead.
The funny part is then later, we made this great video for 160.
That's what I'm getting towards. Yeah, exactly.
And it's fucking on heavy rotation 4 times a day on MTV. It's just fucking totally fucking bullshit.
This is the
That's the Tom Hazelmeyer reissue with his badass art.
I like this one. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So when you did this record, you did just for those that may not know, let me lay it out a little bit. Is that you guys did a video for the song "Scrape," which is a great song, and it's basically just people skateboarding and eating shit and just fucking wiping out and fucking and is it true the video? Like, I mean, what did it cost to put the video together? A couple $100 maybe?
It was like $169. Well, when we had just finished recording the whole thing, and then been a couple months, but I was hanging out at that place, Alleged Gallery, that I used to live, and this guy Thomas Campbell was doing an art show there or whatever. So he was just hanging out. We were sitting in the back room, like watching skate videos or something. And then at the end of the video, these guys, they show all the bales, And I turned to Thomas. I knew he worked with like Trans World and shit, knew everybody in the skate world. So I was like, hey, Thomas, is there any way we can make a video of guys just hurting themselves and then have maybe like 6 seconds of the band in there? Just like really quick cuts when the vocals come in maybe or something, you know, really quick cuts, not much of the band, but just have everybody getting hurt. And he goes, yeah, I can do that. He was like, yeah, cool. It's easy. So the one guy at the end makes it.
Yeah, I like how it ends. You have like one, it was actually, I thought, if I remember, two guys that kind of like make it.
I think it's the same guy, and he kind of does it, and then does it again.
Yeah, yeah. So Rick says Scrape was the first must-see video for my generation of punkers. I was 15 and still remember being stoked when it was on.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, and I'm sure, right? There was bands that were spending, you know, tens of thousands of dollars. They were probably like, what the fuck?
I think it was, who was it? Janet Jackson or somebody who came out, was like gonna threaten a lawsuit. Now, this is what I heard from the, you know, through the grapevine, is that she had seen, because our video was getting more play than hers, and she couldn't believe that some piece of shit fucking video was getting more airplay than her $60,000 video or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? So there was some backlash to them just playing this, which is kind of cool, you know. It's cool that they did it, you know. So what the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. Just Paulie, I believe we're talking about 1995.
94, yeah, it came
94,
out.
95, yeah. So that makes sense. Was this around the time that you toured with Slayer? Didn't you do this?
No, Slayer was, I think Slayer was like 97, I want to say. Yeah, that was later.
Yeah. But let's skip to that anyway. I know you guys went out with Slayer, and I know you guys didn't get fucking pummeled. I mean, like, how did you play with Slayer and not get sort of like ran out of town?
Well, we realized quickly, watching, you know, other bands open for them and shit. Like, I think the first show with them was at Irving Plaza. We did like
right here. Paulie just said in '96 I saw Unsane at Irving Plaza in New York City, opening for Bark Market and Slayer.
Yeah, Bark Market was the middle band, which was going to be our slot after that show. Like Dave Sardi from Bark Market had worked with Slayer, so so they put him on right before them, you know. And Dave Sardi, the Bark Market guys, are good friends of ours. I've known those.
Is that right?
Yeah. I've known those guys forever. But so totally cool. But so we played, and then Bark Market was up, and we noticed that, man, everybody was waiting for Slayer. So they're just screaming Slayer, Slayer, Slayer at the guys at Bark Market. And Dave was like, look, motherfuckers, look, you got some good dick-sucking lips. He was like talking to the audience and shit. But he had like done some mushrooms or something. So then they were getting openly hostile. But he's a big guy, man. He fucking jumped off the stage into the crowd at the end of their set.
Wow.
Just to fucking taunt them. Yeah. Talk about fucking balls. But so that was our first experience, and we realized, like, okay, like, we generally have a lot of noise in between songs anyway, but this was like, okay, we're just not going to leave any patch of silence in our set. This thing's going to be one fucking long assault on everyone, and when we're done, we fucking throw the guitars down, leave it, let the noise keep going, and leave, you know. And it worked. Like, there was people trying and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, a few weeks in, I was hanging out. Tom Araya used to come by our room a lot because we were there early hanging out, and come by our backstage room and hang out. But he was telling me one day, he goes, man, it's unbelievable. You guys are the only band I've ever seen that is not getting shit thrown at them.
Wow.
When you opened for us. I looked at him, I was like, no way. What about Lemmy? You know, what about fucking Motorhead? Give me a break. Right. And he was like, no, man, people threw fucking plastic cups at Lemmy.
That's wild.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
That's wild.
How fucked up is that? Like, yeah. So anyway, so that was our claim to fame. We were the one band that played with Slayer and didn't get shit thrown at them.
Well, something could be said. Also, you know, you see a lot of bands, and they take too much time. in between songs. This is my
Yeah,
a little bit of my opinion. You know, is like, you know what, you know, shut up and fucking play. You know, you get that a lot. It's like, shut up and play. I'm here to see some music. You know, I don't want to mention names, not particularly hear you pontificate. You know, and so, but that's the way to do it. I mean, that's what we do. We come out and just go bam, 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 bam. You know,
I mean, we're trying. You know, even to this day, it's really, it's like an hour-long fucking song, pretty much. You know, that's what we're shooting for. But there's different tunings, so we got to change. I got to change tunings a few times in there, but you know, try and do it quick, man.
Yeah. What is the early Unsane stuff? What do you tune to? Are you a full step down?
No. That's all E tuning,
that's standard.
Yeah, all standard. Yeah, and then but it's actually because I tuned by ear, didn't use a tuner, right? Because it was a 3-piece, so me and Pete could just tune together because we played together forever. So it's actually a tiny bit flat of 440A. You know, it's just a little tiny bit flat, which is kind of good. It's kind of cool.
Well,
and then every song on that record is a slightly tiny bit different generally. So because they're all tunes a little
part of the uniqueness of the band.
Yeah, I guess it's subtle, but it makes things sound a little bit different. You know, so.
Hey, let me take a sponsor break real quick. I told you it goes fast.
Yeah, no shit.
Right? Yeah. Let me take a quick sponsor break and let's come back and let's talk about Human Impact and sort of why Unsane took a break and now you're back, different lineup. We'll get into all that and give me a couple minutes, okay?
All right. Cool.
See you in a few. There you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Chris Spencer from Unsane and Human Impact and a couple other things that we're going to talk about. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. It's nice to be back. It's nice to see everybody. You know what? Let's do it this way. Coming up a week from today, Sunday, July 16th, on the show, our old friend Paul Rackman, film and music video director. He directed American Hardcore. A week after that, the rescheduled Tim Shaw, Ensign, Fuck It, I Quit. Carl from Earth Crisis and his new band Freya will be on Wednesday, July 26th. Josh Jerk from School Drugs, who just played their last show. They are touring in Europe. They're coming back. He will be on the show August 2nd. Vic Bondi, Articles of Faith, August 6th. Evo from Warfare, August 9th. The Martin Scorsese Retrospective on Wednesday, August 16th. Just announced Johnny Paisano. This is going to be cool. Real New York guy right here. He's an actor. He's a musician. He played with Marky Ramone. He's with Willie Nile. Played with Ryan Adams, Jesse Malin. Real New York personality. This is going to be great. Just announced Kevin Sharp from Brutal Truth, Lockup, Primate, and Venomous Concept. All this coming up on the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. But now, a word from our sponsors.
Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in a new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. We are looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All Hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to serve all the events as we usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles.
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer.
Video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars! We are New York hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
We're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today, Chris Spencer. Lots to talk about. See some old friends out there. Vince Schimmel, I love you, man. Hope you're well. Yes. Speaking of junior high school, right? Good to see you. Hey, Scotter, Silence Equals Death. I hope you're well. Thank you, Chris. It is a great show. But then again, we do great shows. We're in the business of doing great shows. Hey, for everybody out there, you might be new to this. This show needs your support. Please don't be shy. There's a Patreon page. Please join Patreon and support the show. I want to shout out my new patrons, our new friends, Jean, Nerd Cage Live, and Camille Paradise. Welcome and thank you for supporting the show. Everybody else, please support the show. It's not rocket science. It's what keeps the show going. Support the show that supports you. There's also a PayPal address there. Of course, you know, join Patreon. You get the first volume of the New York Hardcore Chronicles book for free, all patrons. And the second volume is getting put together now, and it's going to be great. Lots of good stuff. There's also a super chat function. If you have a burning desire question for our guest when it comes time for questions, please, there's a couple ways to support the show. Also, if you're watching rerun, there is a subscribe button right there. Please subscribe to the show. And if you have a communication device, which I'm sure most of you do, please follow the show on Instagram at Stone Films NYC. That's what's up. Anything else? We'll get into upcoming events after the break, but there's the Patreon address. Please support the show. That said, make sure nobody's killing each other in there. Yeah, that's right. Help Drew help you. Thank you, Ray Hogan. Help me help you. Support the show. What's up, Reza? I'll have to watch this on catch up. Adore Unsane and Chris's other projects. Amazing work as per usual, Drew. Well, gee, thanks. Let's bring our guest back on. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
You know, I'm getting pretty good at this 3 years into it.
yeah, you seem to have it pretty dialed in.
I do at this point. It's good. It took a little while, but you know, that said, you know, I want to make sure we touch on a couple of things, and I want to get to you and Impact, which I think is just friggin' great. Sort of take. Why did Unsane take a break at a certain point? What sort of led to that?
Which one? There were like a couple little breaks. We just were touring. There was one point where we did like over 315 shows a year for 4 years.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just, we just fucking burned ourselves out. I felt like it was just too much for a while. So then that was kind of when I did Cutthroats for a while. After that, I just came out to San Francisco, did Cutthroats with that guy, Will, I was telling you about. Mm-hmm. And then we got back together, did more shit after that. And then there was a point, like, I don't know, we had a tour with the Melvins that we were supposed to do. And Vinny, our drummer at the time, had a hostel in Mexico, in Tulum, Mexico.
In Tulum?
Yeah.
Do you know that Evan Seinfeld from Biohazard lives in Tulum now?
Oh, really? Yeah, Vinny, he moved down there, but he doesn't have that hostel anymore. But we did like a New Year's show just on the roof down there.
Sure.
And then Vinny was coming out from behind the bar and was like, "Oh shit, holy fuck!" And next thing you know, he's laying down in a fucking lawn chair, can't move, and
he hurt his back.
In the end, we discovered he had like torn a muscle in his lower back, and he didn't want to come back to New York and get care. He thought he could do it down there.
Oh boy.
They misdiagnosed him. It turned into an abscess, and then he got sepsis. Yeah, he almost died and all this shit. But we had this tour with the Melvins coming up. And we tried to rehearse. He came back to New York to rehearse for the tour, and then he was really having trouble and all this shit. But then he started pissing blood and had sepsis and ended up in like Far Rockaway on like antibiotic drip for like 4 months. Wow. And had to have it ate into his hip.
What year was this?
I'm thinking like 2012,
right?
Something like that. I don't
know. So there was a bit of a recovery process there.
Oh yeah, like forever, like really long. And we did the Melvin tour, but Dale and Cody filled in for Vinny on the tour.
Right, I saw that. Yeah. He kind of, from what I understood, kind of at the last second, he realized that he couldn't do it.
I was at JFK with two guitars, about to get on the plane to go to LA to play the first show, and I get this fucking text, "Can't go, I'm fucked." That's all it says. So I'm sitting.
Isn't being in a band fucking the best?
I know.
Can't go, I'm fucked.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like,
I've been there, bro.
Do I even get on the fucking plane? You know, it's kind of so.
What a nightmare.
But then, so Dave had been tour managing Melvin some and all this shit. So he got in touch with Cody and Dale, and they were like, "Okay, we'll just each learn 6 songs in the next 3 days, and we can rehearse in LA. You know, we'll each learn 6, and then we'll play a couple together."
Those are some bros right there.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
They really fucking came through on that one. And so we did that tour with them, and then played with Cody on another European tour. And then it was like, okay, let's just take a break. And there was another time Vinny quit the band at one point. We had this guy, Will Sharp from Keel Hall, fill in, and he was in the band. And then a few months later, Vinny was like, "Oh, I want back in the band." So, you know, it just a lot of crazy crap going on.
I think this is 2017 right here.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah. That was when we were recording Sterilized.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, that was Yucca Valley or whatever. We went down there. This guy Dan had a whole drum room and shit, and we just recorded drums and shit down there.
The band sort of transitioned from, you know, one label to another. I know Sterilized was on Southern Lord, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you were on Relapse for a while as well, right?
Yeah, Southern Lord. I mean, it kind of was like, we started on Treehouse, then we did a single on Treehouse in Minneapolis, then Matador, then Amrep, and then
This Queen was on
Ipecac. Yeah, Ipecac.
That must have been cool. That must have been cool to put a record out on that label.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. They're great. Yeah, Greg Workman and Mike, those guys are cool. It was awesome. We were doing some festival, I think the Door Festival in Belgium or something, and Mike Fantomas was playing. So Mike and Buzz were there. Yeah. And I know Buzz, you know, I've known him for years off and on. So I was just sitting with them, eating lunch or something. And Mike was like, "Oh, hey, if you guys want to put out a record on Ipecac, we'd be cool with that, you know." So we did one with Ipecac just because we're just talking over lunch. And then also Alternative Tentacles. I've known Jello forever. He's really cool. So yeah, Rec came out on AT and Southern Lord. You know, there's been a shit ton. Relapse in the middle there for like 3 records. And yeah, I think that basically covers it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of different labels.
But they're all, you know, I mean, I know the major label experience there, but it seems like you landed on some great sort of you know, labels that kind of gave a shit about your music and your band.
Yeah, that's kind of the key. You know, after the whole fucking Atlantic bullshit, you know, it was like, let's go with people, you know, that are like kind of more grassroots types, you know what I mean? And not in it for just the fucking cash or stupid, you know, stupid fucking promotional crap. They're doing because they're your friends and they're into your music, you know. So it's just a much better way to work, I think. You know?
Sure, and at least, and I could, you know, I could testify to it because we're going through it now. You know, we have a record coming out on Bridge 9 Records. It's you know, we have a little bit of, you know, say about, you know, the graphics and what we want to do and everything, and we're not getting weird shit presented with weird shit that is just not appropriate for what we want to do. You know, it's like
I mean, there was some shit like with there was a record we put out, Lamb House, which is like a bunch of different shit. And hold on, I gotta let the dog out. Hey.
This is your chance, everybody. Let the dogs out. Let the cats in. There you go.
All right, sorry about that. He gets all emotional. But anyway, so we did all this fucking killer artwork. I worked with this guy James Rexroad, a photographer. He's fucking awesome. He did shits for like Sports Illustrated. I think he did shit for New York Times and stuff. But really good friend, great guy. But we did all this fucking cool ass shit in my apartment on East Broadway, where the bathroom was a fucking mess. But it was Blood Run. It was Blood Run. Excuse me. So we had this friend of mine. We shot from like above a bathtub. It's a woman.
Is that this?
Blood Run.
I actually have. Is that this?
No. That's a different one. That's the abandoned house out in Long Island.
Yeah.
If you look at Blood Run, you'll see. But we did all this fucking, I thought, just fucking amazing artwork, and then we're doing the layout at Relapse, and they were like, "Oh well, we're gonna put a sleeve over it and have a razor blade on the cover." And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, you know, what are you doing? Like, you're just covering up our artwork. You know, what the hell?" But that was kind of how it went, and that was kind of the line where I was like, you know, it's like kind of censorship. Like, what the fuck? We want to be able to do what we want, you know. And if you're working with a label where they're telling you they got to cover your shit up, kind of fucked up, you know.
Well, I guess, you know, there's bands that sort of are hey, you're the label. We'll go with what you think and what you say, and
we're not that band.
Yeah, hopefully you'll take us to the promised land and blah 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 blah. And that's not Unsane, and that's not, you know, that's not Biohazard, and that's not, you know many other bands want to fully execute their vision. Right? And
hey, by the way, this guy Chris who just posted, yes, there will be more cow's blood.
Yes, more cow's blood. Yes.
There will be more.
I've learned this from doing my homework, which I really enjoyed. By the way, I really enjoyed this week doing a deep dive into your catalog and
cool. Thanks.
I really enjoyed it. Could you give us some perspective on how Human Impact came about and sort of, you know, what the mission statement is?
Well, like me and Jim Coleman from Cop Shoot Cop, guy with the big gray beard in that picture. Me and him were friends from fucking downtown from like way back then. I mean, pre-Unsane even. Like pre-Cop Shoot Cop, pre-Unsane. me and him used to ride around and just cop shit all the time together, and
Lower East Side buddies.
yeah, we were old fucking friends. And I had always wanted to work with him. And actually, at one point in like the mid '90s, had sort of said to Vinny and Dave, like, "Hey, can we have Jim come in and do noise shit with us?" But they weren't into it. They wanted to stay a 3-piece. But so I wanted to work with Jim for fucking ever. So Unsane played a St. Vitus show. I think it was 2017 or something. We played St. Vitus. And Jim just like walked up to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he was into just doing a project together, and doing something cool. So me and him just started sending shit back and forth for the next couple months. I got like a recording set up. He's got obviously his shit too. And then we just sent shit back and forth. And then Phil and Chris had been kicked out of Swans in favor of a new lineup. And so we just started, Jim was like, "Yeah, these guys are available. Let's like do this shit with them." We all just kind of got together in Brooklyn, started fucking practicing a bunch, and and just kind of started that whole thing. Later,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Got pulled back into the Swans. So then it was suddenly like, okay, what are we going to do? So that changed things. So now we're looking at maybe doing more shit. So it's just like right now I'm working on new shit for that and for Unsane. So it's kind of like I got a lot of shit to do right now.
When you pulled Unsane back together after this, Unsane came back with basically a new lineup, correct?
Well, what happened was, so the guy Todd I told you about, that was the first guy that ever booked, when the original booking agent that got us all these $50 shows really early on.
Right.
So Todd Cote was managing Unsane again. He had quit for a while, but then came back. And during the pandemic was like, "Hey, I don't have much to do. What do you think if I get all the rights to your music back to you?"
Woo!
Because I had sort of tried to do it, but people were like, "Oh, well, I think we still own it." They're being like vague about it. Like, "Oh, I think we still own it." But that's kind of bullshit, because I don't think I would ever sign a contract where they had my shit for more than 5 years. I just wouldn't do it. There was one Atlantic thing, they snuck in the in perpetuity clause, which total destruction is kind of hard to get on. I think they might be cool and let us do it, reissue it. But anyway, so Todd, over time, over the pandemic, fucking hit everybody up, and I hit up people too, and he got it all back pretty much.
Wow, that's great.
Everything. I know, yeah, it's really awesome. So then we wanted to reissue the early shit kind of in chronological order, and we had this one record that was actually a precursor to the first self-titled record,
right?
A record called Improvised Munitions, which was actually really short, but it was done for a label called Circuit, which I don't know if you ever heard about.
No, I haven't. I don't know.
You were around at that time, apparently.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So there was this guy, Ernie Ciccarelli, I think, or something, and he had signed this band Surgery and done some shit with Cop Shoot Cop and stuff, and he was kind of hanging out in the scene, like that whole Pyramid CD scene, way back. I think it was like 89, 88, 89. But so he said, "Yeah, I want you guys record some shit for me. We'll put a record out." So long story short, do all our shit, record the songs. He makes a test pressing. I see him at the Pyramid one night. He's like, "Oh, Chris, here's your test pressing." Gives it to me, and then I never see the guy again. Never hear a fucking word, nothing. So
that's bizarre.
I heard that he had been a big coke type and had owed these guys a bunch of money and shit. So who knows what the fuck happened to him? People had gone to his house. He was out in Long Island. They'd gone to his house and shit. Couldn't find him. He was just not around. Who knows? He fucking vanished off the face.
But you had the test pressing.
I had the test pressing. I had it at my home. This is when I was living on Clinton Street, down below Houston. And I was living in this basement space, and I was living with these two junkie roommates. And I got in the van, went on tour for 6 weeks, came home. They'd sold every piece of vinyl in my room, including the test pressing. So suddenly I didn't even have the test pressing anymore.
Oh.
At the time I had one cassette, and over time somewhere, but it fucking totally degraded.
Ah.
Useless. So then I didn't even have that record anymore, which was technically the first Unsane record.
Right.
But so then cut to fucking 20 years later, and I find out somebody on the internet has a recording of it. I was like, how the fuck is this possible? Turns out this guy, Jordan Mamoni, you might know him. He's the local guy in the neighborhood. But he had bought my test pressing, or what I think is mine. I'm almost positive. But at a record store downtown.
Love it.
Just a few months after, I had gotten back from tour, like right after it was sold.
Wow.
And he kept it in pristine condition. Listened to it once, kept it in pristine condition in his record collection, and was totally willing to let us remaster it from the vinyl.
Wow, what a great story.
Yeah, and actually get that record out. So then after Todd got all the rights to everything back, we were
let me just ask you, so you took the test pressing, did you personally go back into the studio to clean it up a little bit, or I mean, you went off to test pressing and then
had a guy, this guy Andrew Schneider, who's a super great friend. He did like Vis Queen and a bunch of, he's done a shit ton of our shit. Kind of our main man in the studio. But so he went back and beefed it up a little bit and remastered it from vinyl, which is kind of rough to go from vinyl.
Was it nice? What was it like to hear it after all those years? Was it nice?
Was fucking awesome. Yeah, it was cool.
That's so great. I'm so
happy
to hear a good story.
And then I also had like that demo tape. I had those recordings from that I had like given to Ray B's early on and shit.
Yeah.
And I had those songs. So I took a few of those and added on to it because it was a really short record. So then it was like demo tape shit from the super early, live, like just trying to get shows tape, and that first record that never came out. So then we reissued that. We were going to do that, Improvised Munitions, then the self-titled, then, and just chronologically work through everything. So then Todd hooked me up with Virtual Label. So we have distribution and we have a company that'll do it all. And it's all basically done through my label, our label, me and Todd, Lamb Unlimited. But it goes through Virtual, and they, fulfill all orders and do all the shit for us. Basically, we supply shit and press the records and then send them over to them, and they just fulfill orders for us.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So then during the after that, we put out that record and shit, and the pandemic was going on, and I saw my friend Cooper, who I think you may know, guy, I've known him since he was a teenager in the neighborhood. But I said to Cooper, hey, man, is there any chance that we could fucking just play that early shit live? Because we can't do shows. There are no shows now. It's during the pandemic, during total lockdown. So me and Cooper started hooking up and played with John, who had been playing in Daughters, the drummer from Daughters.
That's right.
And we were all good friends.
Yep.
So then we just started doing that just for fun, man. We were doing it like
and so you kind of pulled these guys together with sort of the idea of let's focus on the early stuff.
Totally, because when Vinny played in the band, we didn't do the early shit. We had to at the very beginning, but it was like But so we started doing the early shit and just doing it for fun. And then after about 3 or 4 months of playing it all the time and really getting tight, then I called Vinny and Dave and asked them both. I said, hey guys, are you cool with me, doing the early shit with these guys? And maybe, we'll throw in a couple others, but are you cool with us doing this? And they were like, yeah, we're cool with it. And I had asked Vinny also earlier before that. I had scored a spot, like I said, in Ridgewood. I mean, not in Ridgewood, in Bushwick. And Vinny lives in Ridgewood. So I was really close to his house. I called him up and asked him if he wanted to play. And he said, no, I'm not gonna. I'm living down in Mexico. So it was kind of like, do I just not play in Unsane, or do I do it with my friends? And I'm sorry, man, but I'm gonna play music. Like, fuck it. I love playing. So.
And then you guys, I see you. And then you guys went out on this.
No, we did a European tour. Well, we played a few shows. We did like, No Coast. We played a show in Austin. We did like No Coast Festival in Dallas or something. And then Todd, again, set us up with a European tour. Swamp Booking actually was who booked it, but Todd hooked us up with them. So then we started doing that, and then it started taking off. And then Vinny gets all pissed and goes on social media and does all these attack things on me and all kinds of crazy crap, which I was like, what is going on, man? You know, what the fuck? Just call me up. You know, we're friends. You know, call me up. Let me know what you're thinking. Don't just attack me on social media. It was really bogus. But so whatever the case, you know, we just fucking started playing and kept playing, and we're going to keep playing. Now we're writing new shit and working on new stuff. So what the fuck, you know?
So, but yeah, so this, excuse me. This just happened recently. This
is a few months ago. Yeah, that was a fun tour, and that was awesome.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
And was it? I mean, obviously it was enjoyable to get out there and sort of rediscover these songs that you wrote as a young man.
Yeah. I mean, completely reminds me of just my frame of mind at that time. Like I'd been like driving a cab out in Jamaica, Queens, and like a car service, you know, thing out in Jamaica, and then fucking drugged, addled, you know what I mean? And just kind of really fucked up at that time. So it was like these songs really, I hadn't played them in forever. So it's just fucking super fun. And they're a little different, you know, like I said, they're in a different tuning and they're just kind of more aggressive than the sort of middle stuff. You know what I mean? Like the stuff was more punk rock, I felt like, you know, so
more gritty. I mean, coming out of the gate. I mean, even when you mentioned Cop Shoot Cop before, it's like, I can't think of a band that played more in that era than that band. They seem like they're fucking playing every time you turn around. Cop Shoot, those guys seem like they played 5 times a week. I mean, that was my perception of it, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
but that was,
we realized we couldn't play downtown fucking, you know, more than like twice a month. You know what I mean? You fucking, like when we first started out, we do like shows as much as possible. And then it was like, okay, we got to start going out of town. We're just wearing everybody out with this fucking playing.
People do that now still to this day. There's bands that just constantly play, a couple times in New York a month and then wonder why, there's no urgency to see them play because you're playing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to see somebody play, but after like 3 months of that, you've gone to 6 shows, come on.
Yeah. I love this shot here. Do you have any recollection of where this shot is? It's a fucking really well composed shot. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
It'll pop up. There you go.
Yeah, that was Hellfest. That was in France. Yeah, that was in France in Clisson. Yeah, that was so fun. That's
awesome. A really well composed, really great shot, man.
Yeah, that was a really fun show. That was really cool.
I have never been to Hellfest, although many of my friends have, and everyone, it seems to be the big one,
Yeah. It's huge. I mean, this was one of the smaller stages.
Yeah, right.
That's like the alternative stage. It's 35,000 people. I mean, maybe not that much, but
you see the big stage and it's like, holy shit.
I'm not counting,
Yeah. Let me take a quick sponsor break. Last one, real quick, and then we'll come back. We'll take some questions from around the world. All right?
Cool.
Be a quick one. That's right. This is it. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Chris Spencer. Get your questions ready. Post them up. I know there was a lot of questions at the beginning of the show. For those that may not be familiar with the format, please repost your questions. Go deep, get weird. We have a great guest on today that we're really connecting with. So please, don't be shy. Let it fly. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We are sponsored by blah, 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 blah. And looking for extreme music? DTFM Vinyl has got you. Located on 13th Ave in Fargo, North Dakota, we have the state's best selection of punk, hardcore, metal, ska, oi, and more. Can't make it in? Shop online from anywhere in the country at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com. DTFM Vinyl, where the policy still is and always will be death to false metal. Come on now, Joe Ramini, the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres, to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and, believe it or not, social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rowley, Ringo Starr, and of course, my friends and yours, Agnostic Front. Information on online sales is being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.texassilverrush.com. Like I said before, I want to talk to you about a couple of upcoming events. Yes, this is a new one. Michael Alago, who I'm going to be seeing for dinner tonight with my mother and my girlfriend. I'll say hello from all of you to Michael Alago tonight. Michael Alago, I've said this before. Michael Alago talks to my mother more than I do. Tonight, my mom's in town. We're going to go all meet for dinner. But if you are in, where did he tell me this is happening? This is in Columbus, Ohio, on Saturday, July 29th at the Avalon Theater. Alago, they're screening the film that I directed. Who the fuck is that guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago, which if you haven't seen it, is on Amazon Prime. Alago will be there doing a Q&A and signing books. That is Saturday, July 30th. The day after that, of course, here in New York City at the Barry Electric, all ages free matinee with Dog Eat Dog, Kings Never Die, Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. Dead Crew and Serial Poets. It is Stephen Messina and Scott Dotino's birthday bash. Cross Island Connect Shaolin Saturday matinee on August 12th with Cropsy and many others. Sunday, August 13th, back at the Bowery Electric. The Take, Silence Equals Death, New Jersey, Scott Earth Represent. Star Car featuring Sab Gray from Iron Cross, Ma'afa, and Mr. Pickles' first show in 10 years. August 27th, I will be down at the Greenville Jewish Film Festival, screening my new film, The Jews and the Blues. I'm excited to see all my friends down in South Carolina. Get your shoes and socks on. It's right around the corner. Sunday, September 3rd, back at the Bowery Electric. We just announced this, another free all-ages show. This is going to be great. School Drugs is headlining. Non-Residents, Fire is Murder, Cartel, Dragons at noon. Then September 30th at Dingbats in Clifton, New Jersey. Spoiler NYC, Alan Robert from Life of Agony's side band. The Take, Ice Cold Killers, ID, and Frequency Overload. Last but not least, although it's not formally announced yet, put it on your calendar. Saturday, October 8th, Bridge 9 Records presents, it's the Incendiary Device record release show down at the Bowery Electric. It's going to be great. Our record's finally coming out. Believe it or not. I believe it when it's in my hand. In direct support is The Long Wait, featuring members of SSD, Slapshot, and Wrecking Crew. RBNX is having a record release show. Chum Huffer and Faded Line. So there you have it. Lots going on. That said, please post your questions for our guest, Chris Spencer. Let's bring him back on. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Is the dog okay?
Yeah, dog's all right.
Good.
He's out. I'm not sure where he is, but he's
right. Here we go. You ready? Let's have some fun.
Yeah, what's going on?
Dan says, hey, Chris, will we get another UXO record?
Oh, Dan. Hi, Dan. I don't know. I think Steve is kind of busy, honestly. I think Steve, he's up in Maine, so it's a little hard to get to him. Possibly, you never know. But right now I've kind of got a bunch of shit to do. Working on new Unsane and new Human Impact. So, it's going to be a while if it does happen. But I'd be open to it, totally.
I mean, I assume looking at you basically, and I know this just from the cycle of touring and booking shows. I mean, things have to be sketched out these days like a year in advance, right?
Yeah, no shit.
About a year.
But then, like, Steve Austin's a good friend, and you never know if he could call me up and say, "Hey, come on out, let's fucking record a few songs." I'd be totally into it. So it could spontaneously happen. It wouldn't come out for a while, but it could happen. You never know.
SR 13. Chris, would you consider writing a book about your career? I mean, there have been so many interesting stories during the show. You must have more.
Yeah, I have a bunch. There's a guy in LA who wants to do like a 12 by 12 photo book that would include all the outtakes and shit from all the art, and also have a shit ton of like stories and, you know, just shit that's happened over the years and all this, you know, kind of. So it would be sort of like an art book with a shit ton of just, you know, stories in it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm looking at now, but that's also kind of tentative. I've got a lot of shit to do. Yeah. Like I like writing music, so you know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Matt says that's an interesting poster in the background. Looks like Spanish Civil War. Is there a story behind it?
It is from the Spanish Civil War. No, I just really like a lot of that shit. I've got a few of them. But yeah, good call there. You nailed that one.
Yeah. Everybody focused. What's going on in the background in the corner there?
Yeah, like my Trout poster. And
yeah. I like the Trout, the Trout legend poster.
My friend Sean Carberry was like, "Are you going to talk about fishing?" You know, like.
Do you do a lot of fishing up there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when I can, you know, when I'm home.
Yeah. Chico says, not a question. Former sound dude, Unsane roadie guy, Jamie Gorman says hello, Chris.
Hey, Jamie. What the fuck? Yeah, Jamie's cool, man. Great guy.
Good. TE says, what happened to Human Impact drummer Phil? Why is he no longer in the band? And will there be a new Human Impact album anytime soon?
We're working on new Human Impact shit now. Both Phil and Chris Pravdika got pulled back into Swans is what happened. And who just were just on tour Europe, and it's kind of a full-time job. So they were when we first started the band, they were not playing in Swans anymore. And then Michael Girard pulled them back in. So that's basically what happened. Long story short, you know.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Swans
is so big, you know. Swans is so big. The Swans is so big that it's hard to work around that one. So
this is a good one. Thanks, Darren, for asking, because we like to talk a little gear on the show. When you're on tour, is there a guitar that you take with you that you really love to play live?
Yes, of course. But they're kind of beaters. Like I have a couple of beaters because I bend the neck a lot.
Wait, I got that shot. Bam.
Yeah, so I bend the neck a lot. So you got to have a guitar that's pretty tough.
Right.
And I've been using, there's one guitar. That's actually the second one. That's a later model. That's like an early 90s one. But that one is one that I always use, that I just got off tour, just used that one forever. And there's another one that has kind of a splatter pick guard that was one of the old Pussy Galore guitars that I've been using forever, and the neck will really bend on that one. So we'll see. I may have played it to death at this point. It's getting pretty goddamn close. So I might bust out a new one next tour. Not a new guitar, but still a different guitar. But yeah, I've been using those same two for quite a while now. I'm not going to fuck them up bending the neck like that. So it's good.
Chris, you've been playing tellies exclusively. What drew you to them?
Really the sound. I like that kind of high-end aggressive sound. Like I'll put in an SCL1 pickup, Seymour Duncan. It's like, I think it's old vintage, 54, 59 or something. But I just really like the sound, and they also, the shape of them, like if you try and bend the neck with a Stratocaster, the whole body kind of turns. Whereas with a telly, it's just like a block of wood, and you can just push on it, and it's just flatter, more solid. Yeah. So for what I do, it just makes more sense. And the frets are nice and wide, and I just love them. So.
You know who I saw back in the day who used to bend the shit out of the guitar was Adrian Ballou.
Oh, yeah. That's funny because when I was a kid, I watched some fucking video that he had made, and he was like, you don't need a tremolo bar. You can actually just bend the neck. Yeah. and cut to, you know,
Yeah.
cut to years of bending the neck. Yeah. So
He was
that's
I
funny
saw.
you mentioned.
Yeah. He played with Frank Zappa. I saw him play with King Crimson, and they were great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really great.
Player, man.
Yeah. Scariest show you played?
Scariest show.
Was there ever that like incident, like we were playing in like
Okay.
Slovenia and like
No, I gotta say Dayton, Ohio. It was really early on, and we drove the van. You ever seen that movie Green Room?
Of course, bro.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
I'm a big fan of that film. It's a very well done film. Yeah.
But we pulled up, we drove up this dirt road out in the middle of nowhere outside of Dayton, and it's like fucking bonfires and all bikers. Just fucking tons of fucking bearded, giant, big, fucking nasty, great guys, they turned out. But just all bikers and a fucking shed that we were supposed to play in. And we were like, holy fuck, what have we just driven into? Because there's no getting out of here. You know, if shit goes south, we're fucked. Like, we are stuck. You know, it's totally like Green Room. Like, they are just stuck there. So we started play, and it was fucking hairy at first. We thought people were going to start throwing bottles at us and shit and all this stuff. But they actually turned out they were into it. Couldn't believe it. So that was really scary initially, but turned out all right. You know, and at the end, we ended up fucking getting drunk with the guys at the bonfire and, you know, and having a good time up there. So it actually,
Sometimes it works out, you know?
Yeah. But that was just hairy because, you know, you get in these situations where it's like, what the fuck? Like, if we're completely vulnerable, you know.
You know what that reminded me of? And you might know this place. I think it was in like Wichita, Kansas, the Outhouse. Did you ever play the Outhouse?
Yeah.
Remember that fucking place?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It was like a cinder block shit house, you know? It was the Outhouse, you know?
Yeah, the Outhouse, yeah. Was that Wichita or Lawrence?
Could be Lawrence. Could be Lawrence.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think it's Lawrence. You're right. I think it could be Lawrence.
I think so. Sorry.
Yeah. Robert Hogg in Scotland asks, are there any new bands out there that you look to influence your sound now?
No, I mean, I've always wanted to do something different. You know, I don't really try. I don't take shit from band. You know what I mean? I'm not into like having other shit influence what I want to do. Cause I really love what I do. And, you know, I don't want to like start doing shit that sounds like other people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just pointless to me. I don't think it'd be happy with what I was doing if I was started like ripping off other bands. You know,
it's not like you listened to the new Turnstile album was like, you know what? Love that new Turnstile.
Here we go. Yeah. You know, no. Guys, we're changing our sound, you know.
I love that new Unsane record. I hear Turnstile. It's the weirdest fucking thing. I remember they asked Tom Araya, you know, what's the new Slayer album going to sound like? And he said, it's going to sound like a Slayer album.
Yeah, there you go. I know. Yeah, it's, you know.
Yeah. Darren asks, do you ever use EQ pedals, Chris? No,
I can tell you, my pedals are really simple, man. It's just like a fucking tuner, floor tuner, a DOD 250, like 1981 yellow one. But you got to turn it up all the way to get it to sound good. Just a preamp, and then I took a wah pedal and disassembled it and put the wah pot as a knob on the top. So then I can set where I want to have the filter. You know, I can set it where I want it, and then just hit the hit the button, and there's no real wah effect to it. It's just the high-end filter thing that hits.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You got
two things.
Yeah.
Well,
it keeps it simple, right?
Yeah. I don't like having a whole pedal board. I like just two things, man. It's good.
And what are you using for a head these days?
I'm actually using a combo. I'm using like a quad reverb, but I took the guys at Main Drag in Brooklyn. Took Carl, a good friend of mine who runs the place. had taken a 1970 Fender Twin head,
Right.
kind of the jet aircraft model, and put it in a 412 combo, which is a quadriverb, which is actually from 76 around there. But yeah, so I took a 70 head and gave it 412s is what I've been using. Or, I mean, a lot of times I'm using rental shit. So like there's this place in Prague. We just got done with the European tour. There's a place in Prague that has really original old silver face twins. So those are always, standard issue backup. That's generally what I use.
When you go to Europe to play, you don't drag. That has to be something you get over there, right?
Just about everything. I just bring 2 guitars and the pedals, and I bring there's like an old PCM 41 Lexicon rack mount thing that will slow down the guitar. Like you can loop it and slow it down, so I can store shit in there. So I'll bring that. Not always, but sometimes. Yeah, I just bring 2 guitars, the 2, a couple spares, and my 2 basic floor pedals. That's it. And then I get like 2 twins, we get an SVT and drums and shit. So it's pretty easy. It's a 3-piece. So
yeah, I see Cooper playing this. When you say the SVT, this is I went through all the pictures I have for the show.
Oh yeah, Cooper's using a GK, I think. Oh, that's Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, see, that's another rental. That's an old. That's the old original fucking heavy duty one.
We used to call that. That's we call that the refrigerator. Do we have to drag the refrigerator to the gig?
Yeah, we call it same thing.
Oh God.
I know that things, man. Look out for stairs. Fucking pain in the ass.
T asks, will there be another Salon album?
No, I don't think so. That was kind of. We were on tour again, and I was in Berlin, and this guy Ari Benjamin Myers, really fucking great guy, good friend of mine. He had done some shit with Unsane and Neubauten, and had the ins on working in their studio. So at the time, I was dating a woman who was from Switzerland but wanted to move to Berlin. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Berlin and record at the Neubauten Studios, and do it with Ari. We also did like a film soundtrack for this French horror movie, but and grabbed 2 friends of mine, Zadi and Philip, and just to sort of just record in that studio. It was definitely meant as like a one-off. It was sort of a lifetime achievement kind of thing. Right. I wanted to fucking work in that studio and do some shit with my friends.
That's great. Rick asks, he says, I'm a big Mike Patton fan. How is it working with him? And how did your album on Ipecac? Am I pronouncing it correctly?
No, Ipecac.
Ipecac come up.
What do you mean? Did it come up?
How did he get involved with the album?
It's like I was telling you. Me, Phantom Us was playing at a festival, and I was hanging out in the backstage area. It was like it's a big festival, so there's this whole area for dinner and lunch and shit. And I was hanging out with Buzz, talking to Buzz, and Mike was there. And Mike just said, "Hey, man, I've always really liked Unsane. Would you be into doing a record with Ipecac?" So it was really just friends and just sort of casual conversation, and then we did it. And Mike's fucking awesome. They're a really cool guy, really nice.
Yeah, we played with them and had a great show with them here in Brooklyn a while back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we played with Mr. Bungle. Yeah.
Oh wow! Holy shit.
Yeah.
Was that recent?
No, it was right before. It was right before the pandemic, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because those guys are doing shit now.
They are. I'm sort of surprised that what a hard run they're making at it. I kind of thought, they were going to do a couple shows, but they taking a good run at it. Our good friend Scott Ian is playing, is playing with them. So, another Cutthroat. Is there another Cutthroats?
I would like to do another Cutthroats record. Will has been really busy with Death Angel, but I would like to do more Cutthroat shit. Yeah, I'd like to do more shit. So we'll see. Give it a shot. He's out. I'm out in California, so he's close. So that is definitely another possibility.
Yeah, Gary says the latest Bungle record's unbelievably good. Yeah, I heard it. It is. It's good. Ray Hogan, Ipecac is vomit medicine, isn't it?
Ipecac, yeah, it's what you know. It's what they give. Yeah, it's what they give to people when they want to get you to throw up whatever's in your stomach. It'll make you throw up like in 2 seconds. Yeah, so that's what Ipecac is.
We need a name for the label.
I know. Right?
That's funny.
Something that'll make you throw up.
Yeah, that's great. Last one. Let me try to rephrase this. Robert Hogg says, cool new bands, not an influence on your sound, but are there any new bands you listen to? A lot of old school seem to not. How about this? What are you listening to these days? Is anything, anybody kind of ringing your bell?
I mean, there's this band, and they're not that new, but sort of new. But I think they actually have already broken up. But there was this band, Bummer, from Kansas City. It's fucking
Bummer?
awesome. Bummer. Bummer, yeah. We played with them and a few times, and they're fucking awesome. But I don't even know if they're gonna keep doing shit. So we'll see. But yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Bummer, Def Club. We played with Def Club, which it's I guess a newer band. I don't know. We played with them in LA on the last tour. Fucking awesome too. Fucking great live band. Who else? I don't know. You know.
We Are Bummer. Yeah, just We Are Bummer. It's like that other. What's the other one? Fuck Up, Fuck You. They're real. What was it? Is it? I think it's called Fuck You. God, they're like the loudest band I ever saw.
Oh shit! Wow.
Were Birthday Party influential on Unsane?
Birthday Party were definitely an influence on me. Like when I was really young, I managed to sneak in underage to a show they played, and I counted 17 fucking fights. It was like 81, and I counted 17 fights at that show, and I thought to myself, like, this is fucking amazing that these guys can use music to incite violence like this.
Right.
Like, I was really shocked at the whole thing, you know, because like my friends bummed on Flipper at the time because we were all like kids in the pit, you know, like in the pit, you know, and just love getting that shit out of your system at shows, you know. Yeah. So Flipper was like, my friends would turn to me and go, "Fuck this shit, you can't thrash to Flipper," which I always thought was hilarious because Flipper was so fucking negative and, you know, cynical about everything. So I really liked Flipper, but the Birthday Party, huge influence, I would say, early on. Just Roland S. Howard is a fucking great guitar player. That band was awesome, you know, amazing band. So
I regret, we're talking 1981. Flipper I saw and enjoyed. Birthday Party, I couldn't wrap my. I was a little juvenile. I couldn't wrap my. It was, you know, if I could go back, you know.
It was more like at the time I was kind of into shows that were like violent and just kind of crazy, you know, and I had never really listened to them before that show and went and saw them, and I was like, holy fucking shit, you know, this is fucking insane. Yeah. So that kind of got me into them. It's just seeing them live. So
absolutely. Well, hey man, that was great. I told you it goes fast.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, we're done.
Well, you know, I know, you know. It's
we keep going. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, like, you know, we like to end. We like to, you know, get out while the getting's good.
Yeah, while it's hot. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you know. And anybody you want to shout out, thank, anything like that?
But I don't know. I gotta, you know, give a shout out to John and Cooper, the guys in my band, right? And Jim Coleman. You know, I gotta give a shout out to my friends. So,
well, you know, when's the next time you're playing live?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's like that.
We're just working on new shit. So in August I got to go down to Austin. Cooper's down in Austin, so I'm going to go down there and work with him, and maybe we'll do a show while I'm down there. So, you know, just like a fucking quick. I mean, we got these friends who run this club called the Lost Well in Austin, and they're fucking awesome. Like Cello, the guy who runs the place, he, you know, if I go up to him, "Hey Cello, can we get a Sunday night?" You know, he'll be like, "Yeah, sure. You know, no problem." So we might do a show maybe in August down there. You know, we'll see.
Yeah. Is Austin one of those places, like, through the years it's always been sort of a when you saw that on the tour list, you're like, oh, great, fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's always been fun. Yeah. I mean, it's really changed. It's really changed these days from what it was. But like back in the day, man, we'd go play emos, and it was fucking amazing. Yeah, just crazy, fucking crazy shows. Loved it.
Yeah, I remember emos. Yeah, sure. All right, well, hey, let's keep in touch, and when you come through town, I want to come. We'll hang out. We'll I want to come see you play, and we'll grab something to eat.
Yeah, sounds good, Drew.
All right, thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
take care.
Take it easy.
Bye.
See ya.
Well, there you have it. That was a good one. That felt good. Good. Everybody enjoyed it out there. Good. I'm doing my job. Well, thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. I'll see you in a week for Paul Rackman, film director. By the way, just so you know, Paul Rackman and I go back a very long time, back to the early Boston hardcore days. He shot that footage of Negative Effects at the Mission of Burma's last show at the Bradford Ballroom that turned into a riot. I was actually a cameraman for that. He directed the film American Hardcore. He also directed a lot of music videos, including Bad Brain Soulcraft, Alex in Chains, Man in the Box, Sepultura Territory, Temple of the Dog, Hunger Strike, and a bunch of Pantera videos. So this next show is going to be very cool. We're going to really go deep and talk about, yes, that's right, Larry Kelly. Larry knows. I go way back with this dude. So and he's helped me along in a lot of the films that I've done, the Ilago film, and he's always, hey, Daniel, thank you. And thanks, Rick and SR, thank you. My pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it. And once again, hey, the show could use your support. If you watch the show and you enjoy the show, please take the time to make a contribution or join on PayPal. There's a $2 tier, a $10 tier. This show just needs your support. And very fortunate that a lot of people have supported the show. What's up, Brett the Bookie? You watched the whole show, bro? I find that hard to believe. You driving? Are you out driving? Brett's out driving a tank for Uber and probably watching my show at the same time. Yeah. Can you do that, Brett? Can you actually drive and watch my show at the same time? I bet you can. Yeah. So Women of the Pit are Wednesdays, bro. Women of the Pit come on Wednesdays. Today is Sunday. So, yep. There you go. What else? I think we're good. I got to go have dinner with Ilago and my mom and Rochelle. So, is that right? You drive with your eyes closed. That makes sense. I appreciate everybody out there that drives and watches the show at the same time. I know Larry Kelly does it. I know a lot of people drive and watch the show at the same time. So I appreciate that. I know that's a next level. That's like there's a specific skill set. But yeah. Hey, thanks, Chano. Thank you. My pleasure. Fucking love doing this show. I'm very, very fortunate. So thank you all. Until next we meet. You know what I'm going to say. Do good things and good things will come to you.